Okay, guys, so we're trying to install this fuel cell so that I can stop leaking gas, because my tank is leaking gas and it's getting moisture in it, and that's no good. So, of course, I already had the back seat removed. We pulled that cap off. It's just sticky on there, like some sticky stuff. So I just screwdrivered under it, picked it up, and then this one was this little yellow clip I got right there. You just pull it out and that comes off. This one has these things that it's supposed to pull out. Well, you're supposed to pinch it in and then pull this off and then slide off there, but the dang thing was stuck like glue. So ended up just kind of, it's honestly mangled. It'll still hold because it's dang hard to get it off still, but I mean, of course, it is kind of broke. But we're not using it anymore because the fuel tank's no good. So we now are going to see. I'm gonna have to cut this off anyway, so I'm probably just gonna cut it. I know how much of a pain those things are because I still can't find the right one for my Bronco. But if we're gonna be able to make it to here, we gotta cut it. So that's what we're gonna do. I went and looked at Napa for an inline filter pump, and they have nothing that's like above 8 psi. Like, they're all for carbureted motors, so thanks, Napa. I'm thinking there may possibly be a high pressure inline pump somewhere, so after I cut that, I'm going to turn the key and see if I can feel it sucking. If it does, then this is going to be gravity fed anyway. So I don't think I'll need this in pump fuel pump or in tank fuel pump. We're going to see if we got some pressure on there. Okay, guys, so went down to Napa, picked up some 1/2-inch fuel hose. I ordered a 45 psi fuel pump, inline fuel pump, off Amazon. Nobody in town had one that was for more than 7 psi, so we got that on the way. The inlet is 1/2-inch, so I picked up this 1/2-inch hose. That was a 1/2-inch there. I put some fuel resistant gasket Permatex on the thread and then put this on and got it tight as I could. It was already really hard to get on, so I think it's gonna be all right. If it doesn't hold up, there is some fittings I can use. I'll just clean that Permatex off, and I can use a fitting that's got a female JIC 1/2-inch on there to a barbed 1/2-inch for this hose. If I have to order it, I will. They didn't have any in stock, so we are waiting. This side's gonna be our, where'd my other hose clamp go? That one's gonna be our inlet to the high pressure fuel pump. And then this is gonna be the outlet right here, brings it down. Got a double-sided barb here. I was able to get this one all the way on. Of course, this one's a pain. We got, I guess it's a little bit smaller, but well, this is the original. I heated it up a little bit and I got it halfway on. It's covering almost 3 barbs. So we and I also put Permatex inside there just to be safe. But we got this on. If it doesn't hold, then we'll figure something out there. I'll probably end up just heating it more, but be honest, I just said that's probably good because it was such a pain to get on even after heating it. It's most likely not going to come off or leak. I think we're going to be fine there. But for now, we've done what we can until we get our fuel pump. I realize, let's see, we are going to have to find a way for this return to go back in. But for the time being, I want to just get the main line in, and after we deal with that, then we'll deal with the return line. It's not going to be hard. I'm just going to do the same thing I did with this one up to this line right there. So I'll come back whenever I got that pump. All right, guys, it's a nice hot day out here. It's been 2 days since I ordered that fuel pump. Probably gonna be, I think, 3 more days before it gets here, but hood's already popped. Just kind of wanting to do a little something. I got like an hour and a half before I go to work, so didn't really feel like sitting there anymore. There's a big ant next to my arm. We are gonna try to do something with this wiring here. We got a lot of wiring from the lights. It's not great. I don't love the addition of the lights, to be honest, but I think it's a cool idea still. I am gonna keep them on. It's just a little unique. It's not as clean, of course, but this wasn't ever meant to be a clean car. It's just meant to be, I'm having fun with this car. We're just gonna mess around and try to clean up some of this wiring here, cut some short, tuck some off better, that sort of stuff, and maybe get the vacuum out here and get some of this stuff off. It's getting a little rough. It hasn't been washed in quite a while. I do have one of those sprayers. I'm gonna do a review on one of those sprayers that I bought from Advanced, because it's a little bit, not expensive, but more than I expected it to be. So I'm just gonna do a review on the Advanced Auto one and see if maybe you guys are interested in one, because my water pressure sucks. I think it's gonna help me. Another thing about it I wanted to say, on the topic of water pressure, I guess, just put a offer on my first house. Hopefully it's accepted. I'll know by the end of the day. I still haven't done the review of this rental house yet, because we just kind of been busy and dealing with some other stuff, so we haven't really had a chance to I said in another video that it's like finally gotten to the point where we're okay showing some videos of it, but it's not 100% yet, as far as just kind of organizing some new stuff and cleaning up a little bit, but we'll get there. So it looks like, I know we got this down here from the big light bar, and I think this is the wire from the 2 small light bars. It's been a long time since I put this in, like several months. It's been 4 months since I did this, I believe. Of course, this is our boost controller. This, I want to say this is the LEDs under it, the underglow. Oh, I'm getting attacked by this pecan tree. I'm okay with the rest of the lights. They're staying up, but for some reason on this side, this one has fallen down several times and gotten really dirty. So I'm gonna buy some of those little U clamps and screw them in through there. But the rest of it seems to be holding on fine. If I do have any other issues, I'll probably do the same thing. Although I don't want to, I haven't had any issues with here, because I tucked the wire up inside the fender well. Well, it's a like a metal fender well here, but it's tucked between here and the metal piece, except for down here where it's kind of looser, and I zip tied it, which I still never cut that off. You see where it's kind of rubbed a little bit and turned black, but no issue with it. I still don't love how that one's real close to the exhaust. I'm probably going to use one of the clips there too. Of course, it doesn't look great. I could tuck it up on the inside of that and it would be more of a, I guess you could say, underglow. I don't like how you actually see the individual LEDs. I kind of just want it to be a glow. So I'll probably do that because the inside of that's totally hollow. Just got to clean it real good before I do it. Obviously, if I do put it on there, it's gonna have to be sticky, because if I screwed with those things I'm talking about, you would see the screws sticking out the bottom. So, and we don't want that. Not clean. So we will we'll try to do our best with the stick. So I think the first thing I'm gonna do is probably attack this area, and I'm going to try to run our switch panel inside the car, as well as this one. Alright guys, so first thing that I did was I took this, unhooked, well, first thing I did was unhook everything. But, okay, still don't have the lights on for that. Unhooked everything. I brought this in here, and I had this red wire that was running back here to the LED lights that are mounted around the top of the speaker. And instead, I use that wire and I connect to the switch, and then with the positive, these are smaller terminals, so I just stretched it out and stuck it around there. It's not going anywhere, should be fine. And then with the black wire of this switch panel, I just stuck it down in the black terminal of the old switch wire. If that makes sense, if I said that right. So whenever I flip this switch now, well, that's on. We got these lights. So those are good. Gonna take a second to clean up the wiring in the bay and figure out how much I need. Sorry, I'm wiping the sweat out my eyes. It's hot out here. How much I need to hide the wire up in here, and see if maybe we can possibly, I know we can get this out of here by pulling up. That's what it is. We're gonna try to run it through there, drill some holes in the bottom of that, and then we can mount the panel inside there. That way you open up your switch panel like that, and you don't have to have it hanging down all the time. It's gonna require 2 hands, so that way it's nice and hidden and you can get in. Obviously there's not like a ton of room here, being the sub box is behind the seat, so you want that extra knee room when you're getting in. So I'm gonna figure that out before I move on to the next set of wires. So got these ran through here. I left a little bit of play wire just to sit in the bottom of this in case I ever need to pull it out and work on it, which I most likely at some point will do. Just got some holes drilled in the bottom here. I am going to have to cut about where that line is right there, straight across, just so that it'll fit flat and actually close up. It'll fit in there obviously, but whenever you close it, it pushes the buttons on, and I don't want that. So I mean, technically we could cut down here, but I don't want to do that. I just want to cut that little bit right there. We'll see how that works. If we do have to notch out right there, we will. But gonna cut right here. But I'm gonna wait and do that because I don't really have a good tool to do it right now. I'm gonna have to borrow. I'm just gonna borrow the angle grinder from my dad because them things are kind of expensive and I don't want to buy one. Okay, so I've noticed that if these two black wires are connected, the lights will not turn off. I'm not sure if it's because, well, you see this wire is already grounded because it's connecting to the ground on the battery. Obviously this is just the ground for the switch. I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like if I ground this one separate, then we're good. Or vice versa. But this should already be grounded, because obviously whenever I touch them to here, this gets grounded. But as of right now, I just had to unplug this to turn off the lights. But I gotta go to work, and it's hot, so I will continue this tomorrow. So I'll be back tomorrow in 3, 2, 1. Alright, I'm back. It's actually been 2 days because I was doing a lot of stuff trying to get approved. Well, I got approved, but trying to get my new house thing going. Happy to say they accepted our offer. I just put my earnest check in today. So got our inspector set up to come Thursday next week, so about a week away. Have that done. We can get an appraisal and whatnot. But I've been messing around here for a little bit. So a couple things I did. I ran the boost gauge in here. I just put it there because I thought about putting it here, but just kind of want that leg room. Yeah, it doesn't look great there. I'll probably end up tucking the wires under. But it is what it is for now. At least it works. I figured this out. I was just being dumb. So I realized that all that other switch does is just connect this one and the black one. I wish it was white. I would have known that if it was white, not black. Because black is clearly the ground color. White is the neutral color. So I just connected. Since I've already got this main power wire here going to the switch, and then they're all daisy chained, we just put the black on these, and when we flip the switch, it comes on, but you can't turn it off unless this switch is also grounded. So that's not going to stay through there. That was just for me to test, but I just wanted to update on the fact that I was being dumb and just not thinking straight. So that's, oh, also, this looks a little better now. We're gonna basically, since we don't, well, there's a fuse here, but I think I'm gonna reuse one of those power wires that's in there. The other one I may just leave, and I may take one of these fuses. Actually, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take one of these fuses, the one I'm not using, to go in there, and I'm gonna put it in there, if that makes sense, behind that switch that I'm using now, because there's no fuse there. Safety first, guys, you know what I mean? So, and there's a little sweat bee right there. Can you see him? He don't want to sting me, though. He's a good guy. We got our fuel pump, boys. So, I'm gonna cut this open. Let's see. I just stabbed the seat a couple times. Yeah, there we go. Don't play with your knives, kids. That's a good slice down the middle right there. Alright, it'd be crazy if this wasn't actually a fuel pump. I had to spend a little extra to get that free shipping. Bought some assorted lock nuts. I think it was like $8 for those or something. I really wanted some like nuts and bolts, but the nuts and bolts that were on there was like $25, and those were $8. So I was like, huh, whatever. So JDM Speed is the company. It was the cheapest one I could find, but I had decent reviews. So basically, got some terminal covers with it, basic inline fuel pump. Gonna cut the bag open and try and plumb it up. I'm not gonna be able to finish it today because it's Sunday, and I don't think Napa is open on Sunday. It may be, but I'm not going there, so I'll do it tomorrow. But we'll go ahead and throw this in and wire it up. So I got it wired up right here and plumbed up. We're going to mount it right here. I've already got the holes drilled for the zip ties to hold it on. Obviously we don't have any fuel in this, and our return hose is still returning there. So not going to do anything about it today. You see the red wires and all, not going to that because I played around with those, and to be honest, I just wasn't getting anything. So I just put it on a switch, ground wire here, that going back up here, and stole the power from this gauge because I needed to put that gauge on a switch anyways. I'm gonna have to buy some terminals for that, but you can probably hear it does work. So we got to next gonna have to cut this bad boy off and get another one of these double barb 1/4 inch things, put her in chair, and bring the other side up to there. I'll probably just swap those, that one and that one, so that, well, I guess it really doesn't matter. But I gotta find some way to return it. And I'm going to see if there is some way, that's hot, that I can just like basically size up on the return from the 1/4 to the 1/2 to go over that. And if not, honestly, I may just put the hose in there and silicone around it because it's not really pressurized that much. I mean, it's probably a little bit of pressure, but it's just dropping back into the tank. So it shouldn't really be an issue as far as leaking if I were to go that method. But I'm going to try to make it look nice. So we'll see what we can handle. I say make it look nice, and we got this going on right now. But it will get back to its former glory. It's going to be better than ever soon. I'm going to go ahead and mount this fuel pump on here. And, well, to be honest, will it have... It might kind of get in my way. No, it won't. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mount this fuel pump, and I'll come back with it. Ka-chow! That's what it looks like. So, yeah. Next part's going to be just going to get that tube from there to there tomorrow. And also some gas. And then I'll put this video together and post it. Been a couple days. I think I've recorded 4 different days on this so far. The next one should be 5. And that dang ought to run. It's rated for 45 to 50 psi, and that pump is 45 psi, I think. Yeah, I think the engine specification was 44 to 50 psi, and the pump is 45, so it ought to work. If we do run into any troubles, we'll just get a little bit bigger pump. No worries, it's not going to kill anything if it doesn't have enough fuel. Well, I say that. I think we'll be fine. Running lean can be an issue, but if we're not noticing any lack of power, I probably should have went higher with it, but I'm cheap. So if we notice that we're not able to get boost out of it like we want, and we're starting to struggle there, then we'll definitely stop ripping it and immediately get another pump, a bigger pump. Alright, dudes, peace. So we got this all hooked up. You might see it's a little bit wet down here because so basically I hooked this up. It didn't want to actually run. We got our return hose and all that too. It was cranking, obviously, but not starting. So I knew this would happen. I plugged those back in, and I knew it was gonna spray fuel. But I was just thinking there was some kind of like ignition safety. And I'm about to figure that out actually. Because I'm gonna unplug those and put some fuel in the throttle body and see if it'll start. I know when those are plugged in, it will start with fuel in the throttle body, but I feel like there's some kind of spark safety shut off if those aren't plugged in. I tried to mess around with jumping wires, but it just wasn't getting me anywhere. I took the fuel rail off and I didn't see any fuel coming out, so I'm assuming it was just a ton of air, but I don't know, we'll figure it out. I'm gonna try this, putting fuel in there without not plugged in, and then if that doesn't work, well, whether it works or it doesn't, I'm calling it a day because I gotta go get a shower and get ready for work. So okay, so it does start without those being plugged in. So the only thing I can really think of is that I have mixed up. I assumed that this was the supply and this one was the return, and I'm thinking now that that was opposite. I guess it makes sense for that to be the supply. It's got to be, actually, now that I see fuel around that line, that's got to be a supply. That has to be where I went wrong. I don't know why I assumed the opposite. But we'll try that tomorrow. Okay, so we swapped the hoses around and it runs. So I had the hoses on backwards. Well, if I leave the fuel pump on, it runs like crap. If I turn the fuel pump back off, then it runs okay. So it's got too much fuel pressure, which I don't understand why that would be, because this pump is rated for 45 psi and the specs for this car is 44 to 55 psi. So I thought I'd put a filter in there to kind of slow it down a little bit. Well, nowhere on this box does it say, you know, limit 5 to 7 psi or anything like that. It says nothing about any psi on that box, but the fucking thing exploded. So we're gonna have to order a filter that can handle that much psi, that specifically states that it can handle that much psi, and I'm gonna get my money back for that. And I shouldn't have put Permatex on this fitting. I knew I shouldn't have, because it's JIC. I knew I didn't need it, but I did it anyway, and now it won't stop leaking. I've got it as tight as I can get it. I'm basically just gonna have to wait until all that fuel leaks out and then take that Permatex off. And that's just the way it's gonna go for now. Sorry, EPA. I had that bowl under there to catch the fuel, but now I need it for those hoses since that damn thing exploded. I'm gonna go take a shower and rinse the fuel out of this cut. By the way, don't ever buy these red hoses. Get the black ones. These ones, you can't stretch them over a fitting for nothing. I hate those things. I will never buy those red hoses again. It's supposed to be good for anything. They're good for nothing. That's a fact. Alright, I got this silver boy here. It holds fuel pressure. It's good. It does run. Still runs rough when the fuel pump is on, and as soon as I turn it off, it runs fine until it runs out of fuel. But the pressure is too high, so I'm thinking our return line is going to need a low pressure pump to help it, since we're more elevated now. I think that might help us. So I'm going to run to Napa and see what those guys think over there. Those professionals ought to tell me if that'll help or not. We'll see. So I'd like to end off the Pontiac Vibe build right here, guys, because my friend Jared needed the engine for his MR2, and he put the turbo and the engine all in that one. And you know, I'm moving now again. I really don't need the car at this point. I don't drive it anymore, really, because I have a new car, and I'm a truck driver now, so if I get caught speeding or anything like that, I could lose my job. But I had a lot of fun building it, and I thank you guys for watching it with me. Maybe someday in the future I'll buy another one. I'd like to do an all-wheel drive one, and not really do it for sport, but just kind of have it for I don't know, like an extra car or something. Just have it, a good-looking all-wheel drive one for an extra car. Of course, automatic, because they didn't make the manual transmission for the all-wheel drive one. Maybe we can figure something out with that, but I'm okay with automatic at this point. Of course, I'll always love driving a stick shift, but as a truck driver, my knees are not that great anymore, so sometimes you just want an automatic. And like I said, it's not going to be for fun, really. It's just going to be kind of a backup car and something I like the look of, and I'd like to do again in the future. But thank you guys for watching. Peace.